Hello and welcome back. This lecture is going to cover temperament. We will go over the 9 temperamental traits, the 3 temperament categories, and strategies for working with each temperament, all with the goal of creating a goodness of fit. All children come into this world with different temperamental characteristics. These different characteristics play a major role in their behavior. The relationships that develop between infants and their caregivers, both at home and in childcare, are strongly influenced by temperament. In group care, temperament influences the way infants relate to each other and the way the care teacher experiences the group. This can be the same in the home with family and siblings. It is important to understand temperamental differences and have the flexibility to meet each child's temperamental needs. According to PITC, temperament can be defined as early appearing patterns of observable behavior that are presumed to be biologically based and that distinguish one child from another. Genetic influences typically account for between 20 to 35% of individual variations in temperament. That leaves quite a bit of room for environment to play a role. Not only can environment influence genes and how they are expressed, environment plays a significant role in shaping temperament-based behaviors. There are a total of 9 temperamental traits, and we're going to go over each one of these. There's a handout in this week's module called Temperament Traits, and the handout goes into detail into each of these traits, giving examples of extremes in each trait. First is activity level. Children differ in how active they tend to be. This is referring to the amount of movement and level of activity. We can see this in young children by how much they wiggle and move around. Regularity is referring to biological rhythms and is the regularity or irregularity of things like eating, sleeping, toileting. Some children are right on schedule with these things, while others can be completely unpredictable. Approach and withdrawal is how you respond to a new situation. So some children withdraw from people and things while others approach. Some children are very slow to a new environment, stand back and observe for a while other children will jump right into the action. This also refers to new food, toys, etc. Adaptability is looking at how quickly a child adapts to a new routine. Also, new foods and places as well. Sensitivity is how sensitive a child is to potentially irritating stimuli such as bright light, loud sounds, touch. Intensity of reaction. This is the strength of a reaction. Some children express their emotions with great intensity, while others are more low-key or softer in their reaction. Distractibility is how easily children are distracted or how easily they are able to ignore distractions. This can be measured by looking at how easily a child is distracted from an activity or how long they can stay focused without being distracted. Mood. This can be positive or negative, positive being the amount of playful, friendly behavior, and negative being fussy, crying, and showing unfriendliness. Children vary in how often they display positive or negative moods. The child whose mood is positive is easily pleased, while the child with a negative mood may show little or no expression of pleasure. Persistence is looking at how long you will keep at a difficult activity without giving up. In other words, does the child keep trying or do they give up? Temperamental traits combine in different variations, which then fall into one of the 3 different temperament categories. The first category can be referred to as friendly, easygoing, or flexible. The second category is feisty, outgoing, bold, fiery, and the third is cautious, fearful, shy, or slow to warm. Children who fall in the easy temperament category typically account for about 40 to 50%. These children typically have regular rhythms, positive approaches to new situations, they adapt quickly, have a positive mood, and show low or medium intensity of reactions. The slow to warm temperament accounts for about 15% of children. These children typically adapt very slowly. They express negative moods slowly. They may or may not be regular in feeding, sleeping, and toileting, and they may be sensitive to noise, touch, and temperature. Children who fall in the feisty or difficult temperament category typically account for about 10%. Children in this category are irregular in feeding, sleeping, and toileting. They are slow to adapt, express negative mood, and have a high intensity of reaction. Temperament can determine a parent or caretaker's reaction to a child, and it's important to understand that temperament affects how the child interprets and makes sense of life experiences and shapes the child's choices of activities and environments. There are some strategies and approaches to remember when working with each of the 3 temperaments. When working with the flexible child, it is important to provide special attention so they don't fall through the cracks. Because children with this temperament may not demand attention, it can be easy to overlook them, especially if you're dealing with other children with more demanding temperaments. You can check in with the flexible child from time to time, even if they don't seek you out. With slow to warm children, it can be best to not pressure them. Give them time to adapt. Draw them in slowly. Stay a moment nearby. Assure consistent caregivers. Give them their own space, and be patient when they react negatively to something new. And last but not least, with a child that falls in the feisty category of temperament, strategies and things to remember are to be clear with limits and redirect, be flexible, prepare them for changes in advance, make the most of quiet times, provide opportunities for active play, and allow them to be their active selves. All of these strategies and approaches to working with children with respect to their temperaments support a goodness of fit. There's a goodness of fit when the adult handles a child and makes demands in a manner that enables the child to meet the demands successfully. With flexible children, you can be their advocate to assure their needs are met. With cautious children, you can be their ally, the guardian of the gate, to help them enter into play with others. And with feisty children, you can work with their energy rather than against it. See temperament as a push in a certain direction rather than a limitation. Respect temperament and learn to work with it. Stella Chess said, "All temperament expression is within a normal range. Bearing a life-altering event, a person's temperament traits are pretty stable. However, a life-altering event could alter your basic temperament. Even if people have similar temperaments, their life experience is not going to be the same. Therefore, they are individuals. To truly understand a person, you need to know the details. Understanding temperament is important in understanding children, but it's also important in understanding yourself as a parent or teacher, which can in turn promote a goodness of fit."